Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Brooke, and today I am back with another video. Lately, if you guys have not noticed, there has been a shift in my channel where I am starting to produce mostly travel content, which travel is a huge passion of mine. I've always loved travel. I am an international business major, so I will be traveling a lot throughout my life. And for those who do not know, I just got back from a 2-month trip where I spent 1 month in Puerto Rico and 1 month in Central America. So these are some things that have shocked me about Central America. Disclaimer, I am from the Midwest, so these are from a Midwest standpoint. Second disclaimer is I do not mean these in a negative way. Sure, there's gonna be some where they may portray a negative, vibe, I guess. But these are not meant negative. Every place is different, and these are just some things that shocked me overall. These are also in no particular order. I just have them on a list on my phone. I went to Central America. I'm not talking about all of Central America. I'm talking about Panama and Costa Rica, because those were the 2 countries that I was in. And most of these portray straight to Costa Rica. I could have titled this video Shockings of Costa Rica, but there are things in here that are definitely more looked at for Panama. Yeah, so just know that these are not for necessarily like Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, even though these could be because, Central America has a lot of the same common themes. These are mostly looking at Panama and Costa Rica. Okay, now let's actually start. Number 1, guys will catcall you literally everywhere, especially if you are a gringo. If you look like you do not belong in Central America, as in like, I don't want to say don't belong, but you are not from Central America, so you don't have like the dark skin, the dark hair, the dark eyes. If you have all those opposite features, hence A, guys catcall you so much. Let me just say, sure they will catcall you a lot, but it's not like Puerto Rico where it's like sloppy catcall and guys are like, ooh, come over here, Nah, guys in Central America are actually really sweet with their catcalling. I'm not saying you should go off and go on dates with these strangers, because that's definitely not the case. But what I am saying is they will like say flattering things to you, like, oh girl, you're so like pretty, you look so good today. Or like, this is my experience anyways. They'll tell you also that they love you a lot. They'll be like, oh, I love you. And it's just, I think it's just something that one of like the few things that they know in English. But yeah, guys catcall you literally everywhere. We had taxi drivers even catcalling my friend Hannah and I. But it's gonna happen, so if you're a girl, especially if you're blonde, the blue eyes, the light skin, you just look like a gringo, you're gonna get catcalled. Number 2, this is one that I actually knew before going, but my first time doing it, I was kind of like, oh, this is weird. Your toilet paper goes in the trash. It does not go in the toilet. Now, in Central America, they do this because their pipelines aren't as good as like the US and some other countries like Europe. Most of the time when you go to the bathroom, there'll even be like a sign on the door that says something along the lines of like, hey, make sure that you put your toilet paper in the trash, And so it'll remind you, but there was definitely times where I flushed my toilet paper down the toilet because I'm just so used to doing that, and I was like, dang it, I forgot. What's funny is once I got back from this trip, there was a time or 2 where I tried to put my toilet paper in the trash in America, and I'm like, no, you don't do that. So just keep that in mind whenever you go to the bathroom, that your toilet paper goes inside the trash instead of the toilet. Number 3, in some places you even have to pay to use the bathroom. Now, when I say that you have to pay to use the bathroom, I'm not saying it's like $50, to go to the bathroom. But when we were in Panama, there was a restaurant that we asked if we could use their bathroom and we had to pay 25 cents. In this particular situation, the lady gave us 25 cents each, so that way when we came out, we felt like, oh, we kind of owe her, even though it's only 25 cents. Bought smoothies. So they will use it kind of as a, oh, let me get it, so that way you come out and they'll like stare at you like, okay, you're gonna buy something now? And it's like, I guess. But I only came across that a few times in all of not all of Central America, like all of Panama and Costa Rica. So really, it's not, I don't want to say it's not super common, but like I've only encountered that situation like 2 or 3 times. 4, people will try to sell you stuff, obviously, but unlike the Bahamas or Puerto Rico, like when they sell you stuff, they are so nice, as in like if you don't want it, they're like, okay. This especially happened in Panama. We were in downtown Panama City, people were trying to sell us stuff left and right, and when we were like, oh no gracias, like they like backed off, they're like, okay, it's not a big deal, thank you, have a good day. Like they're just like, it's not like the business woman or man, you know, who's like, oh, you're not gonna buy it from me. Like, you know, like, I don't know how to describe it necessarily, but they don't give off that mean approach that's like, oh, you're not gonna buy it? Okay, well, you're wasting my time, you know? Like, there was even one guy that tried to sell us something, and Hannah and I were both like, oh, no gracias. And his son laughed at him. He's like, oh, it's no big deal. And his son was literally like, dude, you're not gonna sell anything today. Going with that, since I said I love the people in Central America, they are so nice and so eager to help you. When we were in Panama City, literally there was tourism people that were all over the place that would tell you about all the different places, and like even if you ask any local, like, hey, what's the best way to get to this place, or even if you are talking to a local and you're like, I want to practice my Spanish, can I with you? They want you to practice your Spanish. It's not like Puerto Rico, and also just know that these are my experiences. So sure, I might be dissing on Puerto Rico, I loved Puerto Rico, but like if we wanted to practice our Spanish in Puerto Rico, most of the time they just spoke too fast, and they were not as eager to help, you know, as Central America. But Central Americans literally go above and beyond for tourism. Since tourism is how most of them make their money, they take the shirt off their backs for you. When we were arriving to Bocas del Toro, there was a couple guys that were like, hey, let's like handle, like, we'll help you carry your luggage, we'll take you to this boat dock, and we're not paying them. These are just guys that walked like 2 miles with us to this boat dock carrying heavy luggage, and they were just like, okay, have a good day. Like, they are just, I can't express this enough how kind and genuine the people are. This next one really shocked me. When we were in Bocas del Toro, something I learned is that the taxis actually hold multiple people, as in like multiple groups of people. For instance, if you're in a taxi, let's say you and your friend are in a taxi and you're gonna go to point A. If on the way to point A, there's a person standing that's like, hey, taxi, they'll pick up that person if there's room in the car, and they'll be like, okay, where are you going? Oh, okay. And like, it's almost like a bus in a sense, like where you're gonna get to your destination, but like they'll stop for others because they're like strategizing on how to make the most money, which is really smart. But it just really shocked me because I've never dealt with anything like that before. Another thing is we went during the rainy season, which the rainy season is the US's summer. So if you go in the summer, expect rain. When we were in Puerto Viejo, Costa Rica, it rained literally every morning for like 2 to 3 hours. Like the rest of the day, like don't let that stop you from going, because the rest of the day was literally just sunshine and such beautiful weather. It was only in the morning that it would rain, or at night. It would just, not thunderstorm, but just downpour. The place says, oh yeah, we take donations. Like you'll find this with national parks a lot. They'll say, okay, like it's free, but we take donations. What that means is that it's not free, and you have to donate a certain amount of money. If you're a local or you look like you could be a local, you'll get by with donating less. If you look like a gringo, they will see you and they'll be like, no, that's not enough for a donation to get in. We experienced this in Cahuita National Park in Costa Rica, and it was just so weird because we saw donation, which usually means, you know, it's almost like volunteering to give money. But when you are in Costa Rica and you go to a national park, now I don't want to say this for all national parks, but the donations, if it says donations, it's mandatory. You have to donate something. Oh my gosh, this next one was my least favorite part of Costa Rica. Okay, sure, it is the most biodiverse place on the planet. I already knew that before going in. That's part of the reason why I wanted to go there so bad. But something I did not think about is how many types of insects they would have. And not, like, insects don't bother me, but the fact that they bite. This was huge with sand fleas. Those are huge in Central America. They're basically these tiny fleas that hide in the sand, and if you lay on the sand for like an hour or so, you're gonna have a whole bunch of these red bites like going up your leg. Those didn't really attack me as much as they did my friends in Costa Rica, but what really got me was the fire ants that bit my feet and it hurt so bad. Just thinking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I do not miss that. That was mostly in Puerto Viejo, but it happened all over the place in Costa Rica. And yeah, needless to say, Costa Rica made me hate ants. It's not even just that. Mosquitoes are really bad, of course, in Costa Rica. So just kind of keep your eye out, wear some bug spray. That's definitely gonna be a make or break in some situations. Okay, this next one's pretty obvious, but I have to say it. If you look like a gringo, a tourist, if you look like you're even a little bit lost in the area, people are not afraid to gyp you. This happens so much in Costa Rica for us. I mean, we're two girls traveling. We're both Caucasian, we have the light hair, the light eyes, so it was bound to happen. But there was times where the gypping was kind of out of hand, and you just, if you're getting gypped and you know like it's not just gypping like a couple dollars, it's like really gypping, like don't be afraid to say something, because I got to the point on my trip where I was like, I am not paying that much. There is no way. For instance, one day that we had to take a taxi somewhere, and it was originally supposed to be like $20 for both of us, which was pretty reasonable because it was a long taxi ride. However, like halfway through, the guy said something about us both paying $40. And I straight up told Hannah, I'm like, I am not paying $40 when he literally just told us $20. So we ended up actually not having to pay that $40, and I think he just went on with his day. We paid the $20. There was also another situation where we were at a restaurant and our meal was supposed to cost like $10, and then when the bill came out, I mean, we even saw the menu and everything. We translated the colones to dollars. We knew it was supposed to be $10. But by the time the bill came out, it was like $20, so they doubled it, and then they tried to tell us that, oh, in this part of Costa Rica, for every dollar, it's like 600 colones or something like that, or 500, I don't know. But he said that, I think he said it was 500 colones in this part of Costa Rica, which is not a thing. Don't let like people tell you that in certain areas the currency changes, because that is not a thing. Another huge thing that you'll learn really fast in all of Central America pretty much is that when you're at a restaurant, usually, you know, when you're in the States or other countries, you'll just wait for the bill to come, and then it'll come to you, you'll pay it at the table, whatnot. At the end of the meal, once you are done eating, you will go up to pay. So there were times that we had to learn the hard lesson where we didn't know that you had to go up to pay, and so we sat in a restaurant for like a half an hour at some points because we were like, do we go up to pay or do we just sit here and wait for the bill? Like, we've been waiting, what do we do? And you'll learn really fast that almost every place in Central America, or at least my experiences, they all have you where you go up to pay. And most of the time you don't even get a bill. So like literally once you get your food and you eat it and you are done and content, then they'll have the bill waiting for you up at the cash register. Another big thing, and this is not just Central America, but it's not big in the area that I live in, so I was kind of like, whoa, this is spooky. One-lane bridges are everywhere in Costa Rica. Oh my goodness. These are especially, I mean, they're just everywhere in Costa Rica. So when you're driving, you gotta be careful and be, you know, because they're literally one-lane bridges where the road goes from like two cars being able to go by each other to just one going through this like bridge. And so you gotta be careful, for sure. When we were in Puerto Viejo, we experienced this while bike riding. And if you're riding bikes, one-lane bridges are so scary because it's like, especially if it's a busy area, like you gotta stay on your side of the road. You know, just like get off the road. Another thing this drove Hannah insane is speed bumps are not usually colored, at least in the areas that we were in. They are pretty hidden and almost like blend in with the road. So just be cautious if you're renting a car, because traffic in Central America is just insane. All these curvy roads, there's some uphills that go literally like this. There's times that I thought we were gonna flip the car. Hopping off of that, cops are really friendly in Central America. This was so surprising to me and actually warmed my heart and really opened my eyes because, you know, the US gets a really bad rep for our cops. because they're not the nicest most of the time. And I'm not trying to diss on all US cops because, you know, there is definitely good guys out there, but you know, our cops are just kind of, they come off like, I'm better than you, I'm higher up than you, and I will put you in your place. But the cops in Central America are not like that. So even Puerto Rico cops are kind of like the ones I just explained in the US, where they're kind of jerks. Like, if you didn't have a mask on, like you forgot or whatever, they were like, get your mask on. Like, they were jerks about it. They were like, now. Like, they would just like look at you like, I'm better than you and I will arrest you right now. Like, that's how those cops are. Central America, I love their cops. Their cops are so nice. They will just like, it just really warmed my heart because it showed me how cops should be, and they're just so friendly. They'll give you directions. They will literally like, I don't know, like for instance, we didn't have our mask on one time because we were just walking down the street. I think we just got done eating or something. We didn't have a mask on, okay. And the Central American police were just like, hey, can you put a mask on? Thank you. Like, it was just kind of like a nice way compared to like being told in Puerto Rico, like, get your mask on, you know, like, it was just like, hey, like, I don't know. The way I view Central America police is amazing, and I love them. They are great. This list is literally in the most random order, because listen to this next one. Like I said, with traffic being insane, especially if you're in a city, people will hit you. Now, we did not get hit, but there were times where we just about did, because we were crossing. And if people are going in Central America, they are going. Like, they're like, yo, if I hit you, you know, who cares, whatever. So just go on with my life. Like, so just be careful if you're walking around as a tourist. Like, pay attention to the traffic, because it's almost the same way in Puerto Rico. Like, it's just not like the States where people will stop for you even if their light is green. Like, that's just a state thing. Pedestrians always have the right of way. However, if you try to cross when a light is green, which we didn't really try to do, I'm just saying, like, if you were to do that, you could get hit. You could so get hit in Central America. This will make no sense, but this is literally how Central America is. There were times that we were driving where there would be a green light and a stop sign at the same time. So you never really knew, like, do I stop? Do I yield? Like, what do I do? You just have to, like, I guess pay attention to whatever the person in front of you does and go off of that in situations like that. Oh my gosh. This one I've talked about with my friends so much because this so shocked me. Never really knew this about the US, but staring to other countries is not weird. Like, they just look at it like, yeah, I'm looking at you, you know, like, which makes sense. But staring in, like, America at least is like, it's just awkward. Like, you don't just stare at someone. Usually if you make eye contact, you like look away, you know? But in Central America, if you see someone that's staring at you, they're not gonna look away most of the time. They will just keep staring at you, you know? So, like, Americans, I never knew this, but we are one of the countries that just view it as, like, that's awkward. Same with silences. Like, Central Americans don't think silence is awkward, as most other countries don't. But Americans feel like we always have to, like, be hearing something, especially when we're with others. So we think awkward silence is a thing. But in other countries, just keep in mind that that's not the case. If people are staring at you, they're not doing it to have an RBF by any means. They're not doing it to, like, you know, come at you. They're just kind of looking at you like, I don't know, like, they're just curious. Another thing that we realized in Central America, and this could be any country, I guess, we stayed in hostels for our trip in Central America, and people in hostels will literally just strip down right in front of you, which might be a hostel thing, but, like, it was not like that in Puerto Rico. So that really kind of surprised Hannah and I. Okay, so this next one, I want your guys' comments down below for this. I was super shocked by this. I thought that laundry was gonna be so cheap in Central America because, you know, like, I just kind of figured, I don't know, I just thought it was gonna be cheap. However, that was not the case. Think of 2 Walmart bags, like 2 plastic bags, you know, they're not super big. I filled up 2 of those with all of my clothes that I brought, and it was $25 for laundry. To me, like, I was expecting that to be like $8 personally. I was thinking, like, it would be no more than 10. I don't really think that they gypped me because I was at a hostel when I did it, so, like, they they didn't see what I looked like or anything. They didn't see that I was a blonde white girl. Also, this is super interesting, I found out. There's certain places in Costa Rica that will expect you to pay in colones, which that's what I figured. However, in the really touristy places, such as Tamarindo, if you go to pay with colones, of course they have to take it because that's their currency, but they actually prefer you to pay with dollars. And that was something super shocking to me because I was paying with colones the whole trip. Tamarindo was our last stop, and I was thinking like, oh, like, you know, like, it's Costa Rica, they're gonna want me to pay with colones. Most of the places don't take US dollars. Which, by the way, if you take any buses, they will not take US dollars, so make sure that you do have colones on you if you're in Costa Rica. But if you're going to Tamarindo or any other touristy, really touristy spot, that is something to definitely consider, is to maybe carry some US dollars and also carry some colones. But I'd say if you can only carry one, definitely carry colones over US dollars. Like if you're debating which one to take out of the ATM, which ATMs are also in a lot of spots. You can almost always find an ATM, so that's not something to be concerned about. If you're gonna be traveling, especially, and I mean especially in Central America, get the app WhatsApp. I never had it before I went to Puerto Rico, and then the guy that owned the hostel wanted me to get WhatsApp, and I was like, well, I don't really even know what that is. Basically, if you do not know what the app is, and this is not sponsored by any means, I mean, I'm a small channel. WhatsApp is basically an app where you can like text people off of Wi-Fi, which is a huge thing because if you go to Central America, it's very hard to get service. We were just gonna do like a monthly plan throughout Central America, like Calero. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But when we went to go do it, they said, oh, we go by the country and you need like a longer plan than that. So we were like, screw it, and we went without service for like the whole month. But download WhatsApp, it'll definitely be a lifesaver, and most people actually use it. Even companies will use it. They'll put it on like their signs like, hey, contact us on WhatsApp if you want to do a tour or something. So definitely get WhatsApp. Oh my gosh. Also, if you're in Central America, buy smoothies and juices. Literally, before Panama, I did not like orange juice. The only way I really liked orange juice is like if it was mixed with other things. But I tried this homemade, made right in front of you orange juice on the side of the road in Panama City, and literally I loved it. So definitely try the smoothies and juices because they are so fresh and you will have an experience like no other trying them. It's not like the US smoothies, or it's not like some other places where it's just bland. Like, try Central American smoothies. I cannot stress that enough. And they're not even pricey. Like, they're anywhere from $2 to $5. Most of them are like $2 to $3. So they're pretty reasonable. On the flip side of that, Costa Rican pastries are almost like the opposite. Like, they look so good, but every single time that we had any, and we had an array of pastries, we were just like, no, this is not it. And it's funny because in Costa Rica, bakeries are everywhere. I mean, almost all the towns have like a bakery, it seems like. But you'll go in there, and we did not. I mean, we went to an array of bakeries, we had an array of pastries, and every single time we were kind of disappointed. But if you are, I'd say the one thing I do recommend pastry-wise is try Tres Leches, because that is so good. We had that in Panama City, and it was, so good. It's like a cake that has 3 different types of milk, and it is delicious. Another thing is literally everyone drives stick shifts, which I thought was super interesting, and it made me want to come home and drive my Jeep so bad. I mean, you get into a taxi, it's a stick shift. You get into like a bus, it's a stick shift. Like, it's just so interesting because I'm like, wow, the US is not like this at all. Like, if someone drives a stick shift in the US, it's like, wow, you can drive a stick shift? And people pump your gas for you. So that was something super interesting to me because I'm not used to that at all. You just, give the people the money, they'll pump your gas. Yeah. Last thing, it's gonna be kind of hard to explain, but okay, this is, how do I word this? When I went to New York City, it looked exactly how I imagined it looking. When I went to the Bahamas, it looked exactly how I imagined it looking. Same with Puerto Rico. And also same with, like, for instance, you look up Times Square on Google, Old San Juan, the Statue of Liberty, like any of that on Google and you see the photos, it's pretty, like they're pretty things and it's like, wow, it's pretty, but then you visit them and it's like, wow, this is exactly what that picture was, which is kind of, you know, like that's logical, but like it's almost like it's exactly how you imagined it being. The only place I've ever been to and I have felt like this is not what I imagined it being has been Costa Rica. I can't name a single place we went in Costa Rica where I looked at it and I'm like, wow, this is exactly what I imagined it being. Most of the towns in Costa Rica are beach surfer towns. You'll have the surfer vibe, you'll have like the beachy vibe. They're not like towns that, I guess, like if you look up Tamarindo, you look up Jaco, you look up Puerto Viejo, Paris Mina, like I feel like Google doesn't portray it as it actually is. And I guess the only way you can understand that is if you go visit like yourself. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed all of those shockings of Central America that focused mostly on Panama and Costa Rica because those are the two places I went. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up because it'll make me smile. And if you guys have any questions regarding Central America, Puerto Rico, Panama, Bahamas, even Canada, I went there when I was younger, so maybe not Canada. Any of my travels, then make sure to leave them in the comments below and I might answer them for a future video. So if you have any recommendations to fellow travelers who might be going to Central America, which I only went to Panama and Costa Rica, so if you have tips about El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, like if you have any like just comments or places that you're like, dude, you gotta go here, like please let me know because I would love to know. I'm a traveler and I definitely want to hit more of Central America this year if possible. So with that being said, I want to wish you guys a happy week and yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time I see you guys with a brand new video.